I'm MechaRandom42, your favorite YouTube harpy, and today we're talking a little Star Trek. I've been kind of neglecting it, mostly because I'm so dreading getting back into Discovery for season 2, but this is kind of an interesting sort of thing that a fan sent me from the subreddit, so thank you so much. This sort of kind of proves a lot of what I've been saying, how not a lot of people really like Discovery, not a lot of people are watching it, that it gets a lot of mention by just kind of a small little number of people while it's airing, and then once it goes away, it's nothing. It completely gets forgotten about, and this kind of reminds me of what I've been saying as well, that people just aren't regarding this so well. People are not liking Discovery that much. People are preferring the original and probably mostly Next Generation. There's a lot more people, I think, that are really, really enjoying Next Generation, especially people probably my age who grew up with it. And that's certainly to kind of qualify why I talk so much about Trek. I grew up with it in the 80s and stuff. I grew up with the original series and reruns, and TNG was originally or first airing when I was watching it, and I saw Star Trek 4 in the theater when I was a kid, so yeah, I'm older than I look. This is really interesting to me, so let's take a look at this. So the first question simply inquired which Star Trek shows have people watched. To avoid uncertainty, there was a requirement to have seen at least half of the episodes of a given show to qualify, and the Rick Berman era was the clear winner. So I have seen at least half of every single franchise. The only one I haven't seen in its entirety is probably the animated series, which I made it through a couple of the discs at least. I can't remember how many are in there. I probably made it through about half of it, and then I just kind of started watching something else. So I do have it, of course, and I've seen, of course, all of Discovery and all of Enterprise, and yeah, I do have pretty much everything on DVD except for Discovery and Enterprise. I kind of need to get Enterprise at some point, but yeah. So it looks like most people are really, really familiar with Next Generation here. And Deep Space Nine, then Voyager, then the original series, and Enterprise are kind of tied almost. They're really, really close to being tied. Then Discovery, and then only 18% was all of them. That's kind of shocking for the people who are like going and voting on the Star Trek subreddit. But I mean, because I would guess I would assume that people on the Star Trek subreddit would be more diehard and have seen like every single thing and know everything about every episode. Maybe not. Maybe there's a lot more casual viewers than I realized. But it's just a really interesting poll. So of the movie viewership, similarly, the second question asked which Star Trek movies have people seen. Unlike the TV shows, where all of them was only 18% of the answer, most people have seen all the movies. There are 52 people who haven't seen any. Go watch them. Yes, 2% was none of them. Go watch the movies, at least Wrath of Khan, at the very least Wrath of Khan. And like I said, Star Trek 4 absolutely is a good starting point, I think, for anybody, especially if you're a kid in the 80s. That was a great starting point, at least for my memory of watching Star Trek. Alright, so the Gateway Star Trek, the third question, asked fans, which Star Trek show or movie was their entry point into the franchise? Or in other words, which of the many Trek properties won them over? TNG's overwhelming victory in the results of the following question as well. So 53.6% started with TNG. See, that's kind of interesting. I remember watching The Voyage Home before I remember watching anything else. That would be my entry point into Star Trek. At least as far as I can remember. I might have watched it when I was really, really little, like the reruns of TOS, but I don't remember really watching them until after I saw Voyage Home. So it's kind of interesting. I guess I'm in the minority. Or was it just the TV shows? Because, I mean, definitely the 80s. So, Next Generation was 53, TOS 24, Voyager was 7%. That's kind of low, considering Voyager is always kind of the one I see in reruns, but I don't know, I guess. And then nobody, oh, just a small, okay, here's the final result. Wow, alright, so here we go. TNG 53%, wow. TOS 24, Voyager 2009 film was 4%. See, that's at least a lot of, it's not, to me, that just tells me one thing, right? That tells me that the JJ films don't produce long-term fans. And this is kind of what we've been saying for a very, very long time over on like Midnight's Edge and myself and all of the Star Trek YouTubers that these JJ movies and Discovery will produce a fan that's going to talk about it for about a minute, but they're not going to come back. They're not going to be long-term fans of the franchise. And if that was your starting point watching the 2009 film to get you into Star Trek, great, you know, welcome into the family. But here's the thing, like TNG is the biggest chunk of the pull, I think, and TOS. If you're going to focus on two things of Star Trek, focus on TNG and TOS, not like Voyager era, not like the JJ universe, even the movies, right? So Voyage Home was only 1%. Wow, I feel really, you know, but that's the thing. The movies are fans of the TV series. It shouldn't be the other way around. And when I hear reports of Discovery they're going more cinematic. When I saw Aquaman, the other day, they had a featurette of Alex Kurtzman and Sonequa Martin Green and a bunch of Discovery people saying, yes, we're making it more cinematic. This doesn't create long-term fans, though. I mean, this creates moviegoers. This creates people who go into the theater to watch a popcorn movie and then they forget about it. They're not going to buy the merch. They're not going to go to the conventions. They're not going to cosplay. They're not going to collect stuff of the franchise. And that's your problem. Star Trek fans are not the movie-going fans. I mean, the movies are kind of just a bonus for us. But we're there for the TV shows. We're there for TNG, TOS, DS9, all these things. That's what we're there for. And that's what's creating like this massive fan base. And when I hear people who are like, oh, well, I used to hate Star Trek until Discovery came along, then maybe Star Trek isn't your franchise. Maybe you should go to Harry Potter or go over and watch, you know, Star Wars or whatever you want to watch. Not as an insult even. But maybe Star Trek isn't your franchise. If you never liked Star Trek until Discovery came along, because there's no reason to change it just for like the tiny little percent of people that prefer the JJ stuff and prefer the movies and the cinematic thing. All right, well, back to the post. The favorite captain. The fourth question aimed to find out who is the most popular captain with a list of 7 primary captains who are also main characters or had prominent roles. However, there was also a write-in for other option for people who prefer one-off captains, such as Data in TNG's Redemption Part 2 or Sulu in Undiscovered Country, both earning 3 votes or 0.1%. So, Captain Picard, 59.6%. I can see why people like him. My favorite, if I were voting on this, would be Sisko, and I'll tell you why. He's kind of a good combination between Kirk and Picard. Like, Kirk and Picard kind of cancel each other out. Kirk is very much the charismatic, strategic, sort of take chances, sort of loose cannon almost character. Not in a bad way, in a perfect way that absolutely makes him a valuable captain and an amazing character. Picard is an amazing character in the other, like, sort of in the opposite way, because he's very formal. He's very by the book. He's very diplomatic. He's very much he's very stuffy as a character. He's very much the opposite of Kirk. And with somebody like Sisko, you have you kind of have the dangerous bad boy Kirk, and then you also have the diplomat of Picard, and that's why Sisko's kind of an amazing captain. That's why he's my favorite. 19% he got. Yeah, see, people know Sisko's kind of freaking amazing. Kirk 9.1 and Janeway at 8.1. Okay, I can see that. I almost think that Picard should have been maybe at like 30%. It should have been a little more easy or even than this, but you know, it's fine. It's just an interesting result. And the other results, here's where it's really, really interesting. So Archer at 2.6%, right behind Janeway. The other was like Data and Sulu. Lorca, 0.6%. That means 6 people probably had to vote for him out of 667 it was. And Giorgio is 0.2%. Wow, so that's even fewer. That's kind of amazing. That's kind of amazing that nobody likes these characters. Maybe it's because they're kind of unlikable. I don't know, just a thought. It seems like they're a little unlikable to me. Right, the 5th question I asked fans, which is their favorite Enterprise model? Let's see. Most of them liked the 1701D. I do prefer the 1701D. It's a cruise ship in space. So the next, the runner-up is the E. Wow, movie. The movie ship. Okay, so the movie one's fine. Then the original. Okay, well let's see where let's see where anything. Okay, the Star Trek Online is lowest. The B only got a little tiny percentage. The C got a little tiny percentage. I am surprised that the B and C got lower than the movie, but I guess it's because those might have been episodes that people skipped where we saw, or episodes or movies where people skipped them. NX-01 got 4%. I don't mind the NX-01. I've got a little soft spot for it, but I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. All right, so the sixth question is which Federation technology would people like to have the most? Listing 9 of Star Trek's most famous inventions like the warp drive, holodeck, and once again write in other option that yielded amusing answers such as the dramatically explosive computer console. But everybody said 34% said the replicator. That's actually pretty interesting. I like that. That's a good choice. The replicator would solve world hunger. It would solve, just so many things. Let's see, the holodeck at 28.2%. Well, we're close to that. We have VR, so we're getting there. Then the transporter, that would be very, very useful. And then warp drive. So what else did they say? A shuttlecraft. A shuttlecraft would be nice. But if you have a shuttlecraft, you could just build a whole starship. Tricorder would be really interesting. We're kind of getting close to that. Our iPhone can do a lot of that. You can get like thermal imaging. You can get like maps. You can get you can get GPS. You can probably scan stuff with certain attachments. I think they're doing it at least in the medical field. Let's see, the emergency medical holograms in last place. Oh, poor doctor. Okay, then 7th question. People were asked to pick up to 3 of their favorite antagonist species, with 20 options to choose from, plus the write-in for other. Although the Ferengi were not included in the options, write-in votes managed to get them to the top 20, ousting the Kazon, who got 0.4% of the votes. Well, the Kazon were terrible. The Kazon were just yuck. I didn't like them. So people loved the Borg and Q Klingons, and I love that they used like real TNG Klingons. I love that instead of like the Discovery orcs. Cardassians are 33.4%. That's not bad. So I wonder if they have like different Klingons though. So Romulans, Andorians, Jem'Hadar, the Vorta. I mean the Vorta, they're kind of weird. I don't know. Terran Empire, species 8472. The Xindi, I'm surprised the Xindi are so high. I'm surprised like the Ferengi, well, the Ferengi weren't really antagonistic. They were more mischievous sort of side characters, right? Yeah, I think that's fine. I really wish that the Discovery Klingons were listed separately though, because they're really clearly distinctly different. All right, so here's another interesting thing. What is the demographic, like age of the people in the survey? So, overwhelming 78.3%, I think that's supposed to be a point, but male, which isn't surprising. It's a very male-oriented franchise. 20% female, which is good. It's perfectly fine. It's not Star Wars. We don't need like this 20 or like 50-50 sort of thing. 20% female is perfectly acceptable for Star Trek. And 1.7 would be other, so that's probably in the other category. We'll leave that up to imagination, right? So in the age group, 62% are 21 to 35, so that would have made them old enough to kind of watch everything in reruns. And Voyager would have been probably on when they were kids. My demographic, the 36 to 55, is 25%. Not bad. I mean, there's quite a few of us. I'm surprised there isn't like an older than 55. Oh yeah, there is. 56 plus. I see. It's 0.8%. All right, so most of us are in like the early or late 20s to early 30s, and then the 0 to 20 is 11.6%. That's really not surprising considering most people on Reddit are about that age group, I would say. What do you guys think of this survey? Do you think this is pretty interesting? Do you think it's pretty accurate? I mean, and also it's really, really interesting that so many people voted so Next Generation heavy considering that, like, we're right coming up against this new season of Discovery, and I would think they would really be wanting to push that, and all the fans would be out there really excited. You know, we just had a short trek, we're just gonna get another short trek really soon. I would assume that the fans of the series would be all over Reddit. Like, I mean, there's news that dropped about the latest short trek, the latest Harry Mudd episode. Where are all the Discovery fans on this survey? You know, it was just recent. It was just in the last couple of weeks. I don't know. That's just kind of interesting to me. But what do you guys think of this survey? Let me know in the comment section below. I am MechaRandom42, and I will see you guys on the next video or live stream. Bye!